I never imagined myself telling this story to the world. For a long time, I carried it in my heart, wondering if anyone would even believe what I had experienced. But over the past months, a sense of urgency has grown within me, an unshakable conviction that remaining silent would be a disservice, not only to the God who saved me, but also to every person living in these uncertain times. I have to share what happened because what I saw goes far beyond a personal revelation. It's something that has the potential to affect everyone on this planet. Hi, my name is Erica Marlowe. On October 12th, 2023, I left St. Mary's Hospital long after the sun had gone down. As a nurse, I often work late, but that particular shift was especially draining, filled with emergencies and the emotional toll of caring for people in distress. My mind was solely focused on getting home to see my husband and our 2 kids. I remember the weather forecast mentioning rain, though I didn't think much of it at the time. Usually, I'm very careful when driving in wet conditions, but sometimes fatigue lulls you into a false sense of security. That night, it was pouring. Streetlights flickered in the downpour, and the asphalt glistened ominously. I gripped the steering wheel, exhausted yet determined to get home. I remember the exact moment I lost control of the car. The tires skidded on a slippery patch, and suddenly everything went into slow motion. My heart felt like it was seizing in my chest, and my thoughts were a jumbled mess of fear and confusion. I don't even recall the impact itself as much as the deafening crunch of metal and the sickening jolt that threw my body forward. Then, abruptly, there was darkness. Later, the doctors told my family that my heart had stopped for 7 minutes and 23 seconds. They used the term clinical death, which sounds so technical, so sterile when you think about the reality it represents. During those 7 minutes and 23 seconds, my heart was not beating. Medically speaking, I was gone. And yet my consciousness was more alive than ever. I found myself floating just above the chaotic scene of the accident, looking down at the paramedics who were desperately working on me. I could see them rushing around my limp body, attaching wires, placing IV lines, trying to restore a heartbeat. Yet I felt no pain or fear. In fact, the most overwhelming sensation was peace, a deep calm that transcended anything I had known before. In that surreal moment, I noticed a young paramedic with gentle eyes. He knelt beside my body, quietly whispering a prayer. I cannot explain how I knew what he was doing. Perhaps it was the movement of his lips, or maybe some deeper, intuitive sense. But it filled me with gratitude. I wanted to assure him that I was there, that I could see his compassion, that I appreciated what he was doing. Of course, I couldn't utter a single word from my disembodied vantage point. Almost immediately after that, everything changed. The scene of the crash faded, as though a curtain had been drawn over it, and I was enveloped by an indescribable light. It wasn't like sunlight or a fluorescent lamp. It was everywhere, emanating from all directions, yet not sourced from anywhere I could identify. The light itself seemed alive, as if it were pulsing with a gentle rhythm that resonated with my very soul. In this radiant space, I felt a presence so powerful, so absolutely loving, that tears came without warning. It was both awe-inspiring and comforting, wrapping me in warmth and acceptance unlike anything I had ever known. Then I heard a voice speak my name, Erica. The sound of it reverberated through me, stirring the depths of my being. Without needing to look, I knew it was Jesus. There was no question or doubt. In that moment, I understood who he was in a way that words fail to describe. Though the brilliance of the light was beyond what my physical eyes could have tolerated, I perceived his presence as clearly as day. His love and authority were palpable. It wasn't just an emotional sensation. It was like standing before the essence of truth and mercy combined. Tears streamed down my face, not out of terror, but because I had never felt so completely loved and understood. The intensity of that feeling still makes me tremble when I recall it. In that luminous space, he spoke again. "My child, I have brought you here for a purpose. What I am about to show you, you must share with everyone." I had no physical voice, but in my mind I responded, overwhelmed by the gravity of his words. "Lord, I'm just a nurse, an ordinary woman who will possibly listen to me." His reply was both gentle and powerful. "I have always chosen the humble to confound those who think themselves wise. Don't concern yourself with who will believe. Speak, and I will take care of the rest." In an instant, the light surrounding me shifted, and suddenly I was standing in a bustling cityscape. People were dressed in modern clothing, going about their daily routines, shopping, commuting, talking to one another, yet something was off. I noticed that no one carried wallets or even phones in their hands. I watched a woman enter a cafe, select an item, and instead of pulling out a card or scanning a device, she simply waved her hand over a small scanner at the counter. A faint glow lit up under her skin, confirming payment. I silently asked, "Lord, is this the mark of the beast?" I had heard about such things in sermons and biblical teachings, but seeing it in this vivid way sent a chill through me. Jesus answered in a voice that resonated all around, "Not yet. This is only the beginning. Watch how the deception unfolds." Time seemed to accelerate, and I witnessed how quickly the technology became widespread. At first, it was presented as a convenience, a seamless way to handle payments, store medical data, and even function as a key to one's home. Many Christians embraced it too, seeing only the practical benefits. Churches began to adopt it for tithes and offerings, for accessing digital Bibles, and for tracking attendance. People considered it a marvel of modern efficiency, a sign of progress. Satan never strikes blatantly at first, Jesus said. He starts with what appears harmless. Then I saw the technology evolve further, integrating into health monitoring systems, regulating emotions, and influencing decisions on an imperceptible level. Children were being raised in a world where this system was normal. They knew no other reality, and their parents firmly believed they were giving their kids the best start in life. I felt a surge of concern and asked the Lord, "How can we warn people when this looks so beneficial? They won't see any immediate danger." His eyes, in that realm of light, reflected a deep sadness. That's exactly why the deception is so strong. If it seemed evil, everyone would reject it, but it arrives as an angel of light, offering promises of a better life. The vision shifted once again. The world was in crisis, financial systems crumbling, food distribution networks breaking down, civil order collapsing. People everywhere were desperate, clinging to any promise of stability. World leaders appeared on enormous screens, proposing a new solution, an upgrade to the existing technology. "This is not the mark of the beast," they assured the masses. "It's merely a necessary evolution of what we already have." Yet Jesus allowed me to see what most people could not. Each time someone accepted this upgrade, a darkness, subtle at first, crept into their soul. Outwardly, they continued going to church, praying, and even reading scripture. But over time, they grew distant from God. Their prayers became hollow. Their spiritual discernment dulled. Their devotion eroded so gradually that they hardly noticed it happening at all. I wept as I witnessed entire congregations drifting away from genuine faith. "Why don't they realize it's happening?" I cried. His voice answered softly, "Because it happens slowly. They do not know they are losing me until it is too late." Suddenly, the cityscape vanished, replaced by a brief flash of total darkness. Then, as though dawn were breaking, a radiant light pierced through. In that illumination, I saw a small group of people who refused to accept the new technology. Their refusal led them into considerable hardship. They were excluded from the economic system, ridiculed as backward or even dangerous. Yet despite their difficulties, they were not alone or unprovided for. "I will protect those who remain faithful to me," Jesus said. "They will find food, shelter, and above all, they will have me." Just as swiftly as this promise was given, I felt a powerful pull, and the scene vanished. A jarring sensation rushed through me, and I realized I was back in my physical body. My eyes fluttered open, and I heard faint voices of medical staff still working to stabilize me. Machines beeped, and my body ached in ways I can barely describe. The bright hospital lights seemed dull compared to the radiant light I had just left behind. Ever since that day, my life has never been the same. I spent weeks recovering, wrestling with the enormity of what I had seen. Part of me questioned whether anyone would believe such a story. Another part felt compelled, burdened, almost, to tell the truth as I had experienced it. Every time I closed my eyes, I could hear the Lord's words, "Speak, and I will take care of the rest." That is why I can't keep this to myself anymore. I understand that some people might dismiss it, thinking it's just a hallucination or the byproduct of a brain starved of oxygen. But in my heart, I know what I encountered was real. I don't claim to have all the answers, or to know every detail of how the future will unfold. What I do know is that the deception I saw was chilling, precisely because it seemed so reasonable and good on the surface. People accepted it out of convenience, out of a desire for security or health, never suspecting the deep spiritual cost. If you've listened to my words and something stirs inside you, whether it's curiosity, concern, or even fear, take a moment to pray, to reflect, to seek understanding. The message I received was not one of condemnation, but of warning and love. Jesus wants as many people as possible to see the truth before it's too late, to understand that not everything cloaked in light is truly from Him. It's not my intention to spread panic or point fingers. I'm not forcing anyone to believe my story. But if you sense even the slightest tug on your heart, please remain vigilant and stay in communion with God. Seek His guidance above all else. Time, as I witnessed, is running shorter than we realize, and there is an urgency that cannot be ignored. I share these words in the hope that they will reach the right people in the right moment. My prayer is that my ordinary life, my simple testimony, might serve as a small light shining in the darkness, pointing not to me but to the one who rescues us from every form of deception. I offer this experience so you may be warned, and more importantly, so you may find refuge in the one who is truly good, truly loving, and truly able to save our souls from any darkness that tries to steal us away. If you hear this and believe, then heed it. If you doubt, I can only urge you to seek the Lord and ask Him yourself. Whichever path you choose, know that I have spoken what I was shown, and I pray it leads at least some hearts to the truth. If this story resonates with you, please share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to discover more near-death experiences. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.